Welcome to the channel. Today we're diving into one of the most shocking crimes in American history. A brutal, unsolved murder, shrouded in mystery and pain. The case of Elizabeth Short, better known as the Black Dahlia. If you like true stories, mysteries, and unsolved cases like this video, share it with anyone else who loves this topic and comment on what you think really happened. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell to catch our next videos. Prepare to discover the darker side of Hollywood glamour. January 15, 1947, Los Angeles, California. Betty Bersinger was walking with her 3-year-old daughter when she saw what looked like a broken doll on the lawn of a vacant lot. But as she approached, she realized the horror. It was the body of a woman, cut in half, clean, without any blood, with a grotesque smile carved into her face. The two halves were meticulously positioned as if the killer had staged a scene. The corpse was undressed, and the lower part was separated from the upper part by a clean incision made with surgical precision. The police quickly identified the victim, Elizabeth Short, 22 years old, from Boston, daughter of a broken family. Due to the 1929 crisis, Elizabeth had a difficult childhood. Her father abandoned the family, faking suicide. From a young age, she dreamed of stardom, of lights, fame, and Hollywood seemed like the ideal place. But reality was cruel. Elizabeth jumped from job to job, living on odd jobs and the help of acquaintances. She lived in constant instability, frequently moving cities. She was considered a beautiful woman with striking features and an elegant and mysterious style. Dark dresses, red lipstick, wavy hair. Her nickname, Black Dahlia, was given by the press, inspired by the film noir The Blue Dahlia, playing at the time. But behind the seductive image was a lonely woman, emotionally vulnerable and at the mercy of the dangers of a world dominated by powerful men. The medical examiner's report revealed a slow and extremely painful death. Elizabeth was beaten, had her wrists cut, lacerations all over her body, and was gagged. The cause of death was hemorrhage due to multiple injuries associated with head trauma. The cut that separated the body was made between the lumbar vertebrae. A hemicorporectomy, a surgical technique used by experienced doctors. There were signs of prolonged torture. Her face was mutilated with a cut from ear to ear, forming a gruesome Glasgow smile. The killer had washed the body with gasoline, which eliminated fingerprints and hindered evidence collection. This was someone methodical, precise, cold, and very intelligent. Criminalists and forensic psychologists suggest that the perpetrator was a man with medical or anatomical training, possessing a narcissistic personality, extreme sadism, and a lack of empathy. The positioning of the body indicates pride in the work, as if he had staged a macabre spectacle. This was someone who wanted to be noticed, and indeed he was. More than 150 suspects were interrogated, but none were officially charged. Amidst the media frenzy, journalists crossed ethical lines. One of them tricked Elizabeth's mother, saying she had won a beauty contest just to get personal details to publish. Days after the crime, an envelope arrived at the Los Angeles Examiner newspaper. It contained Elizabeth's personal documents, birth certificate, social security card, photos, and a typed note. Here are the Black Dahlia's belongings. Have fun. The envelope was cleaned with gasoline, just like the body. It was the killer challenging the police. The name that most haunts this case is that of George Hodel, a millionaire doctor with a disturbing history. His son, Steve Hodel, a former Los Angeles police detective, began a private investigation decades after his father's death. Steve found old photos that appeared to be of Elizabeth, as well as recordings made by the police at the time. which registered shocking phrases like, "Suppose I killed the Black Dahlia. They'll never catch me anyway." George Hodel was a gynecologist with a history of abuse and bizarre conduct, but he was never formally charged. He died in 1999, leaving a legacy of suspicion and mystery. The investigation was marked by incompetence, press pressure, and even corruption. It is believed that the police protected important figures involved in the case. There are reports of evidence destruction and files that mysteriously disappeared. Several investigators believe that Elizabeth Short was murdered in an enclosed location, held captive for days, tortured, and then publicly displayed as a trophy. With the advancement of technology, attempts to identify the killer by DNA were made, but without success. Most of the evidence was lost over time. In 2013, the Los Angeles police reopened the case with new leads, but it remains unsolved to this day. Elizabeth was turned into a villain. The press suggested that she deserved her fate for leading a promiscuous life. But in reality, Elizabeth was a helpless and fragile young dreamer. She was a victim not only of a cruel killer, but also of a society that condemned women for being independent. The case became an obsession for writers, filmmakers, and journalists. It inspired books, films like Brian De Palma's The Black Dahlia, and games like L.A. Noire. Theories emerged in abundance: satanic rituals, human trafficking, revenge-motivated murder, conspiracies involving politicians and movie stars. Some believe that more than one person participated in the crime. Others that Elizabeth was a victim of a circle of influential men. Elizabeth Short carried within her a hope that pierced through the shadows of poverty, loneliness, and abandonment. Despite all the difficulties, she dreamed of fame, of a career in cinema, of being recognized. Her letters to her mother revealed a fragile young woman, but full of expectations, who never gave up believing in a better future. She was not just the victim of a famous crime. She was a real woman, with fears, desires, and dreams, like anyone else. What makes her death even more cruel is precisely the contrast between her ideal life and the monstrous way she was taken from the world. Many who crossed Elizabeth's path preferred silence. Friends, acquaintances, and even possible suspects hid truths for fear of the police, the press, or out of shame for what they knew. This silence helped bury the chance for justice along with her. And perhaps the saddest thing is to imagine that someone to this day still knows what happened and has never told. The Black Dahlia case is, above all, a cruel portrait of the human condition. Elizabeth Short became a symbol of a lost generation of exploited, ignored, and violated women. More than 75 years have passed, and even with all the advancements, the killer's name remains silent. But the image of the Black Dahlia, her pale face, her empty eyes, her carved smile, remains alive. An eternal reminder that the monster often wears a human face. If this video impacted you, leave your like, share it with your friends, and comment on what you think. The case might one day be solved. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so you don't miss our next dark episodes. See you soon. And remember, not all silence is innocent.